Firefighters are still battling to contain the wildfires which have been raging across Los Angeles for 4 days. Forecasters say that more high winds are expected, which could stoke an already perilous situation. President Biden has said the city reminds him of a war scene. 10 people are now known to have died and around 10,000 homes and buildings have been destroyed. A nighttime curfew has been put in place in the worst affected areas to prevent abandoned homes from being looted. There are 5 fires still burning and any progress in containing them is very limited. You can see on this map the biggest fire, Palisades, which was completely out of control yesterday, is now 8% contained. Eaton Fire in the Altadena neighbourhood is just 3% contained. Well, we'll hear from our correspondent in Altadena in just a moment. But first, Emma Vardy, who is on the Pacific Coast Highway for us now. Emma.
Well, today firefighters have made progress in some areas, but new fires are still breaking out. And as the Palisades fire continues to rage above us, local volunteers are trying to help. A fourth grueling day, holding the line in the face of LA's inferno, as tens of thousands of acres continue to burn.
All right, you guys on radio? We'll meet you up at TCC. You got the radio. All right, you good?
Some communities have taken the disaster response into their own hands.
Love you, bro.
In Topanga Canyon, with fires burning all around, a group of locals calling themselves the Heat Hawks have sprung into action.
Initially, everyone felt a bit abandoned, but I understand why. We have a very tight community that's very connected, and so the local knowledge is really essential.
Well, these guys are just taking a look around the neighborhood to see if they can see any spot fires or just anything they can help with, using whatever resources they can get their hands on, water supplies, fire extinguishers. The emergency services are just so stretched that people like this want to do what they can.
We don't, and we didn't have any left anyway. Okay. But there's more coming. Check for the library. There's going to be some in my house.
Despite an evacuation order, here some residents are staying as long as they can to try to protect properties.
It's just not enough people, not enough crews, enough people. I think they're undermanned. I think that budgets have been cut.
Around 10,000 buildings have been destroyed across the city, but every now and then, by some miracle, one has been spared. There's been anger at city leaders over the fire response. Now pledges are being made that LA will rebuild.
With so many homes and businesses lost, we are already putting plans in place to make sure that we aggressively rebuild. I don't believe that there is anything that Angelenos cannot do if we stand together.
The risk of crime poses a new threat. Security has been stepped up in abandoned neighborhoods, and curfews are now being enforced.
You cannot be in these affected areas. If you are subject to arrest. That is important. We're not doing this to inconvenience anybody. We're doing it to protect the structures, the houses that people have left because we ordered them to leave, and I want them to feel confident that we are doing everything we can to secure that.
Along the Pacific Coast Highway is the exclusive LA suburb of Malibu. This once embodied the Californian dream, home to some of the most expensive real estate in America. Now ashes. At least 10 people have now died, and it's warned the death toll is expected to increase. Despite days of hard work, it's up here in the hills where the fires are still raging, and with the winds picking up once again, there's real fears about its spread, and they're facing an uphill battle to try to contain it. With a red flag warning for strong winds at the weekend, it's now a race to try to limit the danger.
Well, most of the fires have been burning for days. Have a look at this one street in Altadena where the Eaton fire is burning. This is Fair Oaks Avenue. This is what it looks like now after those flames tore through the neighbourhood. And that's what Fair Oaks Avenue looked like before. House after house, street after street, it's all gone. Almost nothing left of these homes. Early estimates suggest the total damage caused could amount to as much as £122 billion. Well, our correspondent John Sudworth joins us now from Fair Oaks Avenue. John.
Well, as thousands of firefighters continue that battle to get this crisis under control, this is what it leaves in its wake. The suburb of Altadena sits at the foot of a mountain range over which the unusually strong winds for this time of year, the Santa Ana winds they call them, poured in on Tuesday night. And it's that really lies at the heart of this disaster. It's almost impossible to give a sense of the true scale. So many stories, so many tragedies. We spent a few hours with the residents of one block of this one neighborhood.
Los Angeles is a city in shock. Thousands of people coming to terms with the once unimaginable.
Right around there are my diamond earrings.
Pete Mitchell, an electrician at Disneyland, and his wife Angela have lived here for over 10 years.
Oh my God, and it survived. Your little elephant box from Thailand.
This was their home before the fire. Altadena was a pleasant Los Angeles suburb, a middle-class district, a far cry from the mansions and celebrity lifestyles on the other side of the city.
It's devastating, of course. We saw images of it before. Our neighbors had come in here before, but it's also, you know, the opportunity to rebuild, which is hard road, but it can be done. I think we will do it.
I hope we're rebuilding here, and I hope that we'll have what we can find that can be memories of the good times we had in this home. It was a good home. It was a really good home.
Around them, fire crews are still patrolling the area, putting out spot fires. This is a city in deep crisis, with the emergency services stretched to the limit and lives totally upended.
Okay.
Just a few doors away, another family surveying the damage. This was Stephanie's home for more than 4 decades, but she says she's now focused on the future.
We're very fortunate that we were able to get out in time.
Yes.
Everybody is safe, and we do plan to rebuild.
Absolutely.
Bigger and better.
Yes.
So we're grateful.
We're praying for everybody because this is just devastating. Altadena is one of the #1 places to live. It's friendly, it's family oriented. It's just a wonderful community.
A block away, this house had recently seen new tenants move in.
It would have been the middle bin of the closet, her wedding ring.
Tavia Weinman and her family are now picking through the wreckage, salvaging the few keepsakes to have survived the intense heat.
It's like overwhelming right now. Because it's like decades and decades of, you know, building things, and it's all gone.
These are scenes repeated across huge swathes of this city, and with the emergency far from over. John Sudworth, BBC News, Altadena.
Let's go back now to our correspondent Emma Vardy. And Emma, you spoke at the end of your report about fears that the situation might get worse before it gets better.
Well, there's now 3,000 firefighters battling that Palisades fire above us. But Rita, they're stretched, they're fatigued, and the fear is that with those winds picking up, that any progress that's been made, it can be reversed very quickly. And down here, of course, we're under no illusions as to what the consequences are when the fire starts spreading once again and moves incredibly fast. These buildings, once luxury beachfront properties, they're still smouldering. But gradually people have started to come down here themselves to look at the damage. But now there is this curfew in place from 6 p.m. at night until 6 p.m. in the morning to try to prevent looting while this crisis continues.
Emma, thank you very much. Emma Vardy there reporting from the Pacific Coast Highway. Well, powerful winds and parched ground after months of no rain, a deadly combination which has allowed the California fires to spread. Today it was confirmed that last year was the hottest ever recorded. Temperatures were 1.6 degrees higher than the pre-industrial average. European scientists have warned that the target of 1.5 degrees agreed in Paris 10 years ago to avoid the worst effects of global warming is in danger of being permanently breached. Here's our climate editor, Justin Rowlatt.
LA in flames. It is like a vision from a dystopian sci-fi movie, but it is happening right now, and it is exactly the kind of event climate scientists have been warning about for years. And remember this, the devastating floods in Spain caused by exceptionally heavy rain in October. Or this, the historic drought in the Amazon basin, which reduced river levels to a 120-year low. Before the Industrial Revolution, so between 1850 and 1900, average global temperatures were about 13.5 degrees Celsius. Now take a look at this. Each line shows average daily air temperatures for every year since 1940. The redder the colour, the hotter the temperature. And just look how relentless the temperature rise has been, with last year, 2024, the hottest year ever recorded. And look at this, it was also the first calendar year in which average temperatures exceeded 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. Experts say it represents a new climate era for our species.
We're living in a climate that humanity hasn't experienced before. We can say with confidence when we look at ice core records, when we look at other data sets, that this is the warmest period for at least the last 100,000 years or so. And when we look back at the ice core records, it's the highest concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere for the last 800,000 years or so.
This year should be a bit cooler than the last two, say scientists, but 2025 is still expected to be one of the hottest years on record. And that shows why, as the fires in LA continue, we should all be worried by the way our world is warming. Justin Rowlatt, BBC News.